Hello, everyone, and welcome in. I am Coach Sherry, and welcome to my channel. This is also my podcast, as well as I am live here on YouTube. And I hope that you find value in this topic, and that if you know someone who may need to also hear it, that you'll share this out. So I hope you all have been having a great week. Oh my goodness. I think today was one of the hottest days in the Carolinas. It felt like an oven outside. And we are coming down to the end of the summer. So I think they may call this part of it, maybe it's the Indian summer they used to call it, I remember. But it definitely was one of the hottest days of the summer thus far. And you may see the title of this, and it's the Rediscover Your Why. And I really wanted to talk more about goal setting, but I know that in order to really get your goals, understand your goals, stay on course to achieve and acquire your goals, you have to know more about your why. And I recently did a mentor training, and it was some people in there that are going to be mentoring apprentices. And one of the things that I said during the training was, of course, to get to know them, develop a personal relationship with them where you're building that trust, where you understand what their values are, their mission, their goals. And if they seem like they're going off the tracks, if they're being derailed, you can pull them back on and remind them of what their why is. And many times, as an apprentice, they are in an occupation that they know nothing about. They may have never even heard of it before, never saw the tools, never did that line of work. And so it's very new to them. They are novice to that profession, but they do know that they want to have a career, and maybe they were just going from job to job and they didn't want just any job. They wanted something more intentional, something where they knew they could become skilled up and grow, and also to be gainfully employed. But if they are not workplace ready, if they allow the naysayers in their heads, or, if they become challenged, maybe a stressful situation, they can revert back to some bad habits that they had before, things that really caused them to not be on a career path, or things that, just won't support them in doing their very best. And so, I was telling those new mentors, to remind those apprentices of their why and understand what their why is. You can't just remind them if you don't know yourself. But to continuously share with them, like, listen, remember why you wanted to do this. You wanted to make a better life for you and your family. You wanted to be gainfully employed. You wanted to have a career that could also provide you with a great retirement at the end, or you wanted to have this as as another stream of income. I know you have a business, but you're using this for your insurance. Whatever their why is, totally understand it. And then, just thinking and talking with other people. And sometimes, we can lose focus on why we're doing something, what's going on, why am I going in that direction? Why am I coming here every day? Why am I waking up to this? Why am I going here? So, this is about rediscovering your why so that you can achieve your goals. Many times we have our goals, we have great intentions. Listen, we are at the end of the summer. A new season is upon us soon, and holidays will be upon us. Different things. Life is moving rapidly. Lots of things are coming up, and we're starting to set new goals. It's almost time to set new goals for 2025. But then we fall short sometimes. Our goals aren't achieved. We beat ourselves up about it. "Ugh, I didn't do it again. I didn't have success in that, with that goal. I thought this was the year to do it, and then they just lose focus. You lose the why. And so when you reflect back on the why, that helps you hold on to that goal. That helps you realize that you really didn't fail. There was a lesson learned that's going to make you even that much better. And so this session right now, we're going to talk about how to rediscover your why. And I hope you have your pen and paper ready so that you can take down notes, because I'm going to share with you some valuable nuggets. And if you have questions along the way, please be sure to ask them if you're here live in the chat. If you're listening to this on the replay, be sure to leave a comment and let me know, how are you with your why, and have you had to rediscover it? So, to use your why, you want to use it to guide your career choices. And you want to start by aligning your goals and your daily activities with your core purpose. So many people are walking around and don't know what their core purpose is. We all have a purpose, we all have an assignment that is our purpose, is the reason why we are here, the reason why we do what we do. You want to reflect on whether your current responsibilities and future plans support your life's mission. If they don't, you want to consider adjusting your path to better align with your why. Sometimes those things, your path and your why, are not aligned, and you may feel imbalanced. You might feel like you're off balance because of that. You know, you might be doing something, but it does not really fill you the way that you need it to. Sometimes what you do is more than how much you make. It really has to be aligned with who you are and your why. And so you may feel like, wow, I'm having trouble getting up in the morning. I'm having trouble staying focused throughout the day. I'm having trouble putting this, making this a priority. And listen, we can have many priorities in our lives. You just have to compartmentalize them so that you can focus on each one of those when you are doing it. It's not about having your mind wander. If you're finding that whenever you are doing something, you're working on a task and your mind just continuously wanders, you may want to say, maybe I'm not in alignment, and that's when you want to do a mindset. You want to do a reset with your mind and rediscover what your why is. Just step back for a moment and just ask yourself certain questions. And we're going to get into that in tonight's topic. So, you want to start writing your personal mission statement to clarify your purpose and help you make more informed decisions. I always say this: journaling is so important. Putting that pen to paper, writing down things in your life, what you want. You want to definitely write things that you want, but you want to also write things that are important to you. So, writing down your mission statement, and many businesses have mission statements, organizations, and you are your business, you are your brand. So, what is your brand's mission statement? And you want to write that down to have more clarity in your life. Also, you want to regularly visit and refine your why to ensure that it remains relevant and guides you in your career journey. So, you may be saying, well, Coach Sherry, I hear what you're saying, and it does sound a lot like it's personal. And it is, because when you are in your career, when you are working on your job or in your business, the one constant is you. And I see Black Guns and Gardens is in the building. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. I hope things are going well your way. Welcome in. And so when we look at our careers, when we look at our business, the one constant is ourselves. And if you aren't clear on who you are, then you will always have things that are kind of, tiltering from one side to the other. It'll be challenging to get your footing, and you'll always wonder, why am I feeling like I'm restarting each time? Why am I feeling like I take 5 steps back to take one step forward? So you want to make sure that you write down and be clear with yourself. Be honest with yourself. If you can't be honest with anyone else, be honest with yourself on why you are doing what you are doing. All right. And I wanted to just give you a few examples of some effective wise statements from major corporations. And then before the end of this podcast, we will do some wise statements, personal wise statements that have resonated with many around the world. And, these are some things you can consider for yourself. But first, I just want to go into the ones that are more, branded with companies. And so this one is from Apple. And Apple says, we aim to challenge the status quo. We aim to think differently. So that's Apple's why statement. That's why Apple do what they do. They want to challenge the status quo. And remember, the status quo was the BlackBerry phone, the traditional phone with the keyboard where you can, really feel the keys and everything. And they definitely challenged the status quo when they inserted the keyboard on the screen the way they have it. And they want to do things differently. And so that keeps them more innovative, creative. That keeps them moving and pushing forward. That is part of their why statement. Now, Airbnb is relatively new to the game, and their why statement is to connect millions of people in real life all over the world through a community marketplace so that you can belong anywhere. Did y'all know that that was Airbnb's why statement? I didn't know until I did my research. And, because I always look at it, every big brand has a why statement. Every big brand, they have a value statement, they have a mission statement. And so I wanted to share this why statement with you of these companies. So that's Airbnb's, to connect millions of people in real life all over the world through a community marketplace so that you can belong anywhere. Their statement definitely resonates with the DE&I and B that is going on right now all over the world. And they're connecting people, creating that community. Real people are dealing with real people. It's not the big box, not the big hotels and things like that so much. It's real people connecting with each other. And so I'm sure that keeps them motivated to be even more intentional on making sure that the places where people are staying and the connections that they are making are genuine, that they are, having great experiences and things of that nature. And the next one is Microsoft. So we all know Microsoft, and Microsoft says their why is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. And I want to say, since C19, Microsoft really has stepped up. A lot of companies are trying to pivot into different things, even here on YouTube, trying to pivot with the shorts, keeping up with the trends with, TikTok and Instagram and such, and with those shorts videos, and even with the podcast. Podcasts are really popular on other platforms, but YouTube is like, listen, we're number two out here. We want to make it a platform where everyone can do what they do. And so with Microsoft, I was pleased how well they were able to pivot during C19 when everyone was going virtual. Before C19, all you heard about was WebEx and conference calls. You really didn't hear of virtual meetings. That really wasn't as big of a thing. You may have heard of virtual trainings and things like that, but typically meetings were held in person. And I remember, we always had Microsoft Office and the latest version of it and everything. And just like any other platform, typically you don't utilize all of the things that they offer. But I remember having a meeting and someone had mentioned Microsoft Teams, and none of us on the call even heard of it. We all had the Microsoft products, but we never heard of Microsoft Teams. And come to find out at that time, and it was at the very beginning of C19, during that time, only certain people had access to Teams because it wasn't necessary. Why would anyone really need it? And so when C19 happened, everyone had to get access to Microsoft Teams. And I'm sure Microsoft were scurrying around trying to make sure the platform could accommodate all of the new users, and they did a great job. I think there may have been one or two glitches at the beginning, but their whole thing is to empower every person. Their why is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. And they knew during that time, in order to achieve more, we couldn't be in person, we had to be virtual. So I applaud them for really understanding their why and their assignment. And as you can hear, just from these top three that I read in terms of companies and their why statement, not only is it part of who they are, what they do, what they stand for. It's their assignment, and they are doing what they say. Their why motivates them, encourages them, inspires them. And I'm sure their employees that work with them to continue to grow, to thrive, and to be the best in their market. And you may be wondering, well, what are some strategies that I can use? How can I connect to my why? And I know that oftentimes when, people are sharing information, they're just sharing the outcomes. They're sharing the things that you should do. So they talk about the beginning of the, reason behind it, and then they talk about the end result of, when you do this, this will happen. However, it's the middle piece. That's the meat. That's the sandwich. That's the lettuce, tomatoes, onions, peppers, the meat, the cheese, the mayo. That's what I want to give you today in this podcast. And so some of the strategies of how you can reconnect with your why. And these are just things that I want you to consider, but I also want you to write them down. A lot of times we listen and we get it. And I do this a lot, and that's why I always try to keep a pen and paper or some kind of device that I can just jot down notes, because I hear so many great things, especially here on YouTube, and I'm always thinking I'm going to remember what they just said, but then they may say something else that resonates even more, and I forget what they said before. So that's why I always recommend that you write it down. But these are some ways that you can reconnect with your why. I want you to consider these, okay? So the first is you want to reflect on your journey, and you want to take time to think about what inspired you to pursue your current path. What made you go in that direction? And reflect on significant experiences that shaped your motivations and values. What brought you to that situation that you're in right now? I always look at life as a huge puzzle, and we have so many pieces to our puzzle, and we are always looking for which piece will fit into which part of that puzzle. And you don't just do a puzzle where each piece goes into the next. Sometimes you start at the bottom, maybe the foundation. That's the easiest sometimes, and that's really the most important part of the puzzle. That's the anchor of it all. But then you may go over to the side, to the top, whichever way you find the most pieces that connect. Sometimes you may take pieces to the side and just start connecting them there, and then bring them over to the bigger puzzle to see, okay, I have this whole section. Let me see where it's going to go. And that's, how you can build out your puzzle too. But each piece of that puzzle is going to make this beautiful picture, which is what we call life. And so as we go through life, we're picking up these puzzle pieces, we putting them together, and they're starting to make more sense. And so our puzzle pieces are the years that we have in this life. Our puzzle pieces are the experiences that we have in this life. And as we put them together, as we continue to live day by day, year by year, it all starts to make sense. And I see East Dad has come into the building. Thank you for checking in. I really I'm enjoying your videos too. And all of you that are here, if you don't have Black Guns and Gardens, East Dad, and whomever comes in that is a content creator, that I rock with, they rock with me, please check them out. But thank you for being here. I hope you're having a great time at work, and are enjoying yourself. This is some hot days that we're having. So wherever you are, I hope that you are also staying cool for sure. Thank you. Much respect to you too. So I know even with coaching, some people will say, well, Coach Sherry, I did some random things back in my day, and I don't see how they're going to make sense. They don't make sense. I don't know why I did what I did, but you know, um, I want to do something else. I want to do something different, but I just don't know what, because I was just basically doing a money grab, doing this, a little bit of that. And when you put down the titles and the places that they worked, yes, it did seem random. However, the things that they did when they were at those places, the things that they did well in, the things that they actually enjoyed. And a lot of times it wasn't necessarily what their job title was, but it was something else extra that they did. That thing that they got recognized for, that people looked forward to them to do, that people counted on them to do, then that's what it was turning into. But they didn't realize that that is a business or that is a career, and they took it for granted. And a lot of times the things that we love and enjoy are things that we truly take for granted. Things I have. Oh, okay, good, good. All right, well, I'm glad that y'all are here crossing paths for sure. And I see Keisha H is in the building. Hello to you. Thank you for being here. Thank you. I'm glad that you and Black Guns and Gardens are connected for sure. Keisha H, I hope that you're having a great day. I hope that you're having a great day. Okay, you don't cross paths. And that's how it is. On YouTube, there are so many great content creators, and they're varied. They have different things that they talk about. They may be in the same chat, and they're like, you know what, that his comments or her comments or their comments resonate with me. I rocks with them. They're cool people. I want to check them out. And you check them out and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna subscribe, and I'm gonna do that. And that happens a lot. And that's okay too, because you are connected, and one day it'll turn back around. YouTube's not going anywhere. Look, I'm 16 years old on YouTube. So it's been here for a long time, and there's always going to be those opportunities to double back for sure. So, when we reflect on our journey, you want to look back on all the things that you've done and think about, again, what inspired you to pursue your current path. Sometimes people end up in places and they don't know why they're there, but there is that reason. And when they start to reflect back, they start to realize, you know what, this does make sense. And that will help you to determine what your why will be. So once you reflect, then the next thing is to write a personal mission statement. Now, this again is going to require you to put pen to paper. I promise you, sometimes when I'm telling people to put pen to paper or take notes, or are you writing this, did you get that? Sometimes I find they looking at me like, really? I'm not going to write that down. And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's about 50-50. But listen, y'all, it has never failed. I have never met someone with extreme success that did not write down the things that they have planned for their life, for that moment, their mission, their values, their goals, their ideas, their dreams. I have not met a very successful person who did not do that. I have yet to meet a very successful person that has all of this in their head and no place down, because they understand the importance of intellectual property as well. And they know that if it doesn't get written, and if something was to ever happen to them, that thought, that dream, that goal will be buried with them. And many times they have loved ones in their life. It doesn't have to be your own children, but it could be a family member, a dear friend, a friend's child, that you would hope can learn and glean that one nugget from you. And that is the value in writing things down. The thing that's something you're leaving behind. And what a treasure to find someone's goals, their values, their why back after they're gone. That is a treasure. So consider writing things down. Get a journal. They come in so many shapes, sizes, colors, patterns. There's a journal out there for everyone. So definitely, get one, write it down. If you are like, I don't like to write, I'm a techie. Well, every phone, just about, unless you still have a rocking with a flip phone, they have a notes section that you can capture notes in. At any rate, I need you to be writing these things down. So start with writing a personal mission statement. Craft a concise statement that encapsulates your purpose. Use the format to and talk about what you do, so that, and the impact that you want to make, to clarify your motivations. You definitely want to clarify what motivates you, what's going to be your motivation. So think about what you do or what you want to do, and also the impact. What's the impact that you want to make? Do you want to be someone that is impacting the youth, adults, just as involved, humanity, animals, children, like who or what do you want to impact? Do you want to impact a certain industry? Do you want to impact technology? Do you want to impact the housing market? Do you want to impact people's careers, jobs, education? What is it that you want to impact? And that should be part of your personal mission statement. All right. The next is you want to focus on impact. So shifting your attention from titles. So many people get caught up in, oh, that's the manager, that's the supervisor, that's the director, deputy, the owner, the CEO, CFO, COO. They get so caught up in those titles and they forget about the impact of their work. So you want to assess how your daily tasks align with your core values and your desired contributions. So no matter what title you may have or acquire, you still have to think about what your contributions are going to be. Just because you have a title doesn't mean you arrived. Do you think that an athlete that is a starter, just because they are a starter, that they are done? That they're done with contributing because they made it there? No, they still have to produce, they still have to perform. And so you will never be done. And that's why you have to take the title away. Don't let it get caught up in your head of what people call you or who you are or what how you sign your name, any kind of credentials you may have, degrees. Don't get caught up in that. So let me go back. I see Ella Queen is in the building. Hello to you in Taiwan. Great to see you. Oh, I know it's early. It's probably early for you. So thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Not your Nokia. Listen, remember when Nokia was the cat's meow? And one of my dear friends, listen to this, y'all, for real. One of my dear friends worked as she was an executive for Nokia in the 90s. Now, Eastad, I know that you are a young man. So back in the day, that would have been you probably was probably in high school when she was working for Nokia. And she said that when they would have their executive meetings, they would all just put their phones on the table. And this was probably 95 ish, 96. And she said that one person she recalls said, we're part of a 30-year experiment. And he was saying how so much radiation that a phone gives off. And I remember with her working at Nokia, that even from back then, she never ever would put the phone to her ear, ever. I've never seen her put the phone to her ear. She would always wear or use um the 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 earpiece, that not like an iPod, and back then we didn't have earpods, but the one that comes with the phone with the cord. And that's what she uses. I remember when her and her husband were, in the process of trying to start a family. And I know a lot of men like to wear their phones on their hip, in their lap, or in their back pocket, or whatever. And she would never let her husband do that. Even when driving, she would say, do not put the phone on your lap because the radiation can impact, your reproductive situation, your soldiers. So, there's a lot of things that we don't really pay attention to because we may not be in that industry. However, it can impact us. But it's funny that you say your Nokia. I had a Nokia back in the day too. I know when we first came to the Panthers, the stadium was called Nokia. And, so Nokia used to kind of run the show back in the day for sure. Great to see you, Ella Queen. It's so nice to see you. Salute to you. And so Keisha is saying she picked up 20 line free journals from the school supplies section. Wow. They were free? What store were they free in? That's good though. And if you are intentional with writing, you can go through some journals because you can have a journal for different topics, for different seasons, for different goals, and just have that journal. That's your resource. That becomes like a valuable thing. Remember encyclopedias? Your journal could be like an encyclopedia. And I love journaling and goal setting too, Keisha. So this topic about rediscover your why started out when I was crafting it as a goal setting podcast, because I did back in a few months ago, I did A through Z personal and professional development. And that live, I went through all the letters and what they represented regarding personal and professional development, but I didn't do a deep dive. And so I had all intentions. I didn't say when I was going to do all the letters, but I'm going back and I'm starting to pick up all the letters again. And I stopped at C, D, E, F, G, at F with feedback. And so this one was supposed to be G for goal setting. But when I started thinking about goal setting, and the fact that a lot of people get derailed when they have goals, I said the reason is because they aren't really focused on their why. And I just conducted a mentor training, and I was telling the mentors the importance of you know redirecting their apprentices, and to tell them, if they get derailed, what their why is, so that they can remember their reason for being there, their reason for wanting to be gainfully employed, their reason for wanting a job or a career with benefits. But if we don't know our why, it's hard to redirect ourselves. If the people in your circle don't know your why, it's hard for them to talk you out of that slumber that you may get into. Because listen, when people don't reach their goals, long or short term goals, sometimes it can paralyze them. It can make them feel like, "Oh, my goodness, why even bother?" And then they just start doing things sloppy or not at all. And so, understanding your why keeps you strong. It keeps you, getting up in the morning. It keeps you trying your best. So that's going to be really good. Okay, 99, a 1993 graduate. All right. Well, I know that you're younger than me, Eastad. I know that you think you're older sometimes, but 93. All right. That's still a young man. So you know a little something about Nokia for sure. Yeah, so be careful. Even now, they even say with cell phones, don't sleep with them in your room. And again, my friend that used to be an executive for Nokia, she said that she always slept and still sleeps with the phone right outside the door of her bedroom. Because when you're at rest, that's why I take vitamins, my vitamins at night, because vitamins have a lot of minerals, things that are good for your body, things that your body may be deficient in. But if you take them at night and when your body is at rest, your body can absorb it better, because you're not up and in the hustle and bustle. You're in one place. You're peaceful. You're not in a lot of different elements. So if you are at rest and at peace in your bed, sleep, and things can absorb like a vitamin better in your system. Imagine if you have other things around you, like a phone that is still basically on and putting off those same radiation. So those two can absorb into your body. So we just have to be mindful, for sure. Oh, you 93 too, Keisha? All right. Well, from high school I'm 87, from college I'm 91. Yeah. And so, okay, you said they're not free, just blank pages. Okay. And do you also like the dot planners, the ones they have all the little dots, and you have to, connect the dots, I think, with your letters and such like that? I know those are pretty popular too. And some planners that have maybe they may have writing prompts and different things to them. Sometimes they'll include those dotted pages as well. I see Conscious Business Services and Opportunities is in the building. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. I'm glad that you are here with us. I hope things are going well with you. And everyone in here is speaking. And this is a great group. So I appreciate you all for being here. Thank you. All right. So we just went over the fact that it's important to reflect on your journey, to write a personal mission statement, focusing on your impact. Again, you want to shift your attention from titles to the impact of your work. Don't get caught up in what people call you, who you are, what you do, how much money you make, how much, whatever, how big your team is, whatever. You still need to have that impact and contribute. Don't just sit back like an overseer. No, be a participant and still have that impact. Also, you want to engage in reflective exercises. This is going to be really important. And that's where you can use those guided questions to explore what brings you joy and fulfillment in your work, in your life. And this can help illuminate your underlying motivations. So, we're talking about your career, we're talking about your business. Try to explore what brings you joy. Why what brings you joy in your day to day? Is bringing joy, seeing that person that had gotten an opportunity in a career that they never thought they would ever be able to get? Is bringing joy, or does this bring you joy when people are telling you that this opportunity is a game changer? Is it, if you're a hairstylist, the look on your client's face when you finished doing their hair or fixing their hair, like they used to say back in the day? What is bringing you joy in your day to day? You should, off the top, off the grip, be able to at least say three things that brings you joy from what you do on a day to day. What is fulfilling you in your work? you know um some people are so consumed with their next move, their pivot, until they don't take the time out to even just be in the moment and reflect on what's going on right now in front of them. Yeah, you can pivot. Absolutely. You can move on. But in the meantime, you should still stand tall, do your best, and understand the impact that you're having. You want to still be a contributor. You still want to have that impact. All right. Um, okay. The dots. Okay. Yeah, and it was interesting how all of the school supplies are out right now. But they came out so soon, like right after school was out, school supplies were available in the stores, and it seemed like, man, why they have them out so fast? But this summer went by so fast; it's unbelievable. My daughter, who is a realtor here in Charlotte, and a phenomenal realtor, the week before school started, she had a community cookout where, she invited some of people in her sphere, and asked them to bring school supplies. And she has donated them to a Title I school here in Charlotte for the teachers, for the teachers to use, or if they see a student that needs something, for them to be able to provide it for them. Hopefully the school that she selected, and I believe they do have a resource room where, those things can be stored so that it could be available to all the teachers for sure. I absolutely love Barnes and Noble's journals. I love beautiful covers. The beautiful covers always inspire me to want to write more. And I just love cracking that one open and writing on the first page. And it makes me so excited when I get further into the book and when I can look back and see all the notes and the dates and the things that I wrote, as I continue on. So, I absolutely love any kind of bookstores journal section is one of my favorite. I see everyone is speaking. I see RX Nails is in the building, and let me tell y'all, RX Nails, her where she's from in Louisiana, they do this reunion, and I forget how many years it is. Is it like all the years RX Nails, or is it certain years? And it looks like a good time. Like it looks like one of those reunions. Even if you didn't go to that school, I think you can have a good time there. It was outdoors. They had music. People were dancing. They had shirts. It looked like a family reunion. And my town, we did something similar to that. I grew up in New Jersey, and they took the class from I think it was like 1984 to 1989, maybe. I think into 1988 or 1989. And this was like back in 2003, 2004. And they rented out a whole club in Manhattan, in New York. The whole club was just for that age group from that graduated from my high school, and they just had one big kicking it live like 85 type party. And let me tell y'all, it was so much fun. I was probably about 32, 33 years old when that party happened, and it was wonderful because that whole group that, from like 84 to 89, we were all really really tight. I graduated in 87, so I was kind of like in the middle, so I knew just about everyone, and it was just so wonderful. But we haven't done one like that since. I know that they do have kind of like a cookout. I don't think they've had one in a while, especially since C19. So RX Nails, the one that y'all have, did y'all have a big break after COVID? And when did you start back up after COVID? Yeah. Oh, all the years. So that's like a whole big school family reunion. So everybody can go. I'm kind of awesome. Oh, okay. But I never saw that one. I'm gonna have to check out that journal. Thank you for sharing that, Keisha. Thank you. So again, you want to have those engaging in those reflective exercises and use those guided questions. Explore what brings you joy and fulfillment in your work and in your life, in your business, all of that. And this can help illuminate your underlying motivation. So you want to remain motivated. So these are just ways that can help you. And the next one, and this is the last one for being, helping you with being motivated, is to embrace the imperfections. Allow yourself to move forward without the pressure of perfection. So many people think, oh, if I can't do it right, 100%, then it's going to be looked down or frowned upon. Listen, I love when I don't have it done right, because that means I can do it better. And oftentimes you're going to do it even better than you even thought you could the first time, because you see what the downfalls are, where the gaps are, and this just is going to make it all that much better for sure. And so, you want to embrace that, because this also can help you reconnect with your purpose and reignite your passion. Have that mentality like nothing's going to hold you down, nothing's going to break you down. So that when you have that imperfection, when something went so wrong, you're like, you know what? I'm not going to let this get me. No, let me get back to the drawing board. And you'll be so amazed, because you took that initiative, because you didn't have that defeatist attitude, how many more ideas will start to flow to you. That's just how the universe works. That's how God works. He says, if you just trust in me, trust the process. Don't worry about the perfection, but trust the process and trust me in the midst of it. Then I'm gonna make sure that you go beyond you what you even thought. But if you don't trust me and you don't trust this process, and you just give up, then I ain't got nothing for you. I have nothing for you. And you'll just be walking around in a circle. It'll never be that elevation that you deserve. And let me see, RX Nellis is saying it have people that didn't grab. Okay. That's like a true family reunion though. I know that even with my college, we have people that went for like a semester, maybe the first semester of freshman year, but they still come back to all the homecomings. They still are part of the alumni associations, because it's one of those things. If you step foot on the campus, if you walked inside the building one time, you are family. It's the fact that you are aware of it, that you fell in love with it. And for whatever reason, you didn't go there, you didn't finish there, but we know you love us. We know it. And so, probably with your high school, even if people didn't graduate from there, they knew people that went there. They probably went to parties with y'all. They may have lived around it, but they still family at the same time. Okay, you had to pause it for, yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad that y'all paused it and didn't stop it, because it looked like it was well attended this year for sure. Yes, every situation brings a lesson, and that's the beauty of life. All of our assignments, we have an assignment in our life. Within your assignment, there are many lessons. You know how you have a syllabus when you start school, and they tell you, okay, these are the lessons we're going to learn, or these are the assignments that you're going to have due at the end. Well, before you get to that assignment that's due, you have lessons. And those lessons are things that are building you up so that you can succeed in that final assignment. Sometimes, instructors may give you assignments that are due throughout the semester. They'll say, you know what, this right here, what I'm about to share with y'all is hard. So I'm going to give you an assignment that's going to be due on, the after the first month, an assignment that's going to be due the third month, and then in the final assignment. But in the meantime, you're going to have these labs, you're going to have some quizzes, you're going to have some guest speakers, we're going to take a field trip. And when you're doing all those things, you have to glean, you have to capture all the things that you're learning, because it's building you up so that you can be best prepared, not better, but best prepared for that assignment. Yes, you have to trust God and his process. Listen, I have said trust the process for so long. I actually got like a going away award that says trust the process, because I don't know what else to say, because that's what it is. Yeah, right now it may not feel good. Right now it may not look good, but it's a there's an end to this, and it's going to be so beautiful. But you have to continuously put one foot forward and the other. You have to continuously show up at your very best so that you can get to that part that you want, that you crave, and that you desire, that you want to be. It's not going to just happen overnight. It's not just handed over to you. And that's why telling your story, telling your testimony is so important, because so many people are looking at you. They're looking at me. They're looking at the person to the left and to the right, and are like, I want to be that person right now. But they don't know what it took for us to get to where we are right now. And we all did not start at where we are. And so many people don't want to pay their dues. They don't want to be in that class learning those lessons. They just want to take the assignment. They don't want to even really take the assignment. They want someone to give them the assignment, just give it to them. Already finished, already graded, already, passing grade and everything. No, you have to go through these lessons so that you can absorb all of that knowledge, all of those nuggets, and you need to absorb it for how you need to pull it out. Some people are like, Coach Sherry, you're too generous. You give a lot of information. Listen, a lot of people in my life have been very generous to me. And I always said, if I have anything to give, I'm going to give it to that next person to help them. Knowledge is power. And so if I have knowledge to share, I'm going to share it. You know why? Because even if you go around and you turn around and you are like, wow, I took all those notes from Coach Sherry, I'm going to say it. I hope you do. I hope you do. I encourage you to do. But guess what? It's not going to sound exactly like I said it, because you have your own way. You have your own special sauce that I'm sure you're going to put into it. You have your own experiences, your own testimony that you're going to put into it. So there will never be two that are the same. That's why it's never a threat. I'm never afraid. I'm never like mad if someone goes and uses what I shared, because that's what it's all about. That's what it's for. It's not for me to just keep close to my chest. I'm not checking for them whether or not they did it or not. I'm glad. I hope they did. That's why I always tell people whenever I do a presentation, especially if I know I'm dropping some nuggets, I always say, make sure you share this with your circle. There's someone that may need to hear this, and share it. If you need to share it in front of a large crowd, please do. That's what knowledge is for. It is power, but it's only power if it's shared. And let me see. Every adversity brings the equivalent or bigger opportunity. Yes, it does. And that's when, sometimes, if I go through a challenging moment, I get excited. When something like goes left instead of right, I should say right instead of left, since I'm left-handed, and when you left-handed, you're a little special. But when something goes left instead of right, when it just didn't happen the way I had thought, I get excited, because I know that means that there's something else better. And it makes me want to go back to the drawing board and try to figure it out. And that's what I was saying, when that happens, God is saying, all right, if you trust in me, you trust in this process, And you went back. You not scared? Never scared? Okay, I got you. Faith over fear. All right, I see it. You don't even have to say it. I see it in you because you are continuously on this road and I'm right here with you. Actually, just follow me. I got you. And I start to sometimes laugh out loud and people might be solemn around and are like, why is Sherry tripping? She's so silly, or this is not even funny. Like, this is not the time. And it's not that it's funny, it's just that it tickles me because it's like, yo, y'all don't even understand where God is going to take us. Like, I'm not even trying to see it because I know it's going to be something beyond my imagination, beyond what I could even fathom. And that's the beauty of it and him. So, oh my goodness. All right, I see everyone is speaking. Oh, thank you. Yes, pay it forward. Oh my goodness. And don't be afraid to pay it forward, please. I hear of people like, oh, they copying me. All I'm saying is this: if you're gonna copy though, copy the right cat. They say don't be a copycat. I say copy that cat. Make sure it's the right one. And make sure it's the person that's really saying something that makes sense. Don't follow the one that's like for the money grab, or for the fast fashion or fast life, or whatever. You want to definitely copy the right one, and give them their props. If you are, there's one thing that this man I know, he says, during his interview prep and resume writing workshops, and I've had him part of my team before, and there's pieces of it that I would, like, you take this one. And one thing he will say is, don't be a serial applicant. And so even though he doesn't present with me anymore, when I say it, I'll be like, in the words of Boom Boom, I'll say his name. Do not be a serial applicant. Give the people their just due. You know how when you write a paper and if you look up an article or a book and you quote the author and you let them know you cite it, you do that citing part of it and you put it in the reference, or I can't even remember not the table of contents, but in just your references, your notes of where you got your information. So if you found some value, like truly, and you're like, yo, I never heard this before, I never felt this before, that right there, I'm gonna say it again. Say, you may not remember who it was from because we're on YouTube. You hear a lot of things. You might say, listen, there was this content creator and they once said, or if you do know the person's name, give them some props. And then when you truly make it your own, when you really flush it out and make it your own, then you run with it. But if you verbatim it, then that's when you'll be like, this right here, I got this from such and such. So now, if I do a resume writing or interview prep workshop or whatever, and I say that, I always give him his props because I think that's so dope. Don't be a serial applicant. And that's someone that applies to everything, whether they qualify for it or not. They're just shooting their shot in every basket. Sometimes you shoot in the opponent's basket, and that's how you lose. So he's saying, don't do that. And I believe in that. I always tell people, whatever you do it with intention. Do it with good intention. Be very focused. I see Slasher Chick is in the building. Hello, how are you? Oh my goodness, it's great to see you. Hope you're having a great day. And oh, I'm glad. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Listen, Slasher Chick. I was like, I need to go live. I know I've been doing my car chats. I love them, but I needed to incorporate more lives for sure. Glad everyone is speaking. Oh, you're a little sick. Yeah, listen, some things are going around. And so everyone take care of yourselves. Make sure you're taking your vitamins. Make sure that you're stretching so that the blood can flow properly in your body. Drink lots of water, lots of fluids. That's so important. Oh my goodness. And try to eat a banana. Make sure your potassium levels are where they need to be, and have protein. Incorporate more protein if you can. Right? Don't you feel that? I listen, every time a new challenge comes, and sometimes, people will come to me with different things and they are like a little like, oh, Sherry, I don't know. This is something that, it came up and they thought maybe, and I'm like, what is it? And when they tell me, I'm like, I'm all over it. Like that has always been in my head, and ugh, all I needed was the green light. Yes, that can be done, And I get excited by those challenges because I know if they either going to work, and if they don't work, they will work later. So it's just exciting. Yes, definitely get some rest too, slasher chick. Hmm. Yes. Thank y'all all for being here. I see Delightful Dawn is in the building. How are you, Delightful Dawn? It's good to see you too. Yes. If you and yeah, I don't get one live in a week now. It doesn't quite feel right. Yes, this is my first live in a long, long time though. So much has been happening, and I've been in deep thought because there's a lot of moving pieces happening, a lot of decisions to make. And so I was like, let me just get my content out. But when I do lives, I want to pour myself into it. And I just didn't have enough energy to focus on the different pivots plus coming live for sure. Yeah, it's a lot of we had construction in our house. We had gotten our whole first floors redone, not refinished, but literally pulled up construction site ish. And so it was interesting. Yeah. Okay, working on editing Delightful Dawn. All right, so Delightful Dawn's about to drop some good videos, it sounds like. So let's make sure we connect with her so we can check them out. Yes, trying to. And the great thing about YouTube and being consistent, because that is the name of the game. And for all of you that are content creators in here, and I will get back to the I'm on the last part of what I wanted to talk about with Rediscover Your Why, but with consistency, YouTube is making it very simple, especially with the remixes of your longer form videos. Be it, and your longer forms can be almost like a short too. I have some videos that are like a minute, but they're not classified as a short because of the way that I uploaded them. And I'm able to remix them into a short. And so that just kind of keeps content there. Even if it is 15 seconds or a minute, I'm still appreciative of the opportunity to post something on a daily basis, even with the community wall. And I believe you can do community posts when you have at least 500 subscribers. I literally could not wait until I could do that because to me, the community post is really the social media side of things. It reminds me of a LinkedIn, of a Facebook, Instagram, where you're just posting maybe inspirational quotes, things that are going to be motivating, links to other people's lives or videos that resonate with you. That's the part where you can even put polls and see what your audience is interested in or get their opinions about things and really have that dialogue, that quick post. So they give us so many ways that we can still be relevant on a daily basis. And I appreciate this platform even that much more for it, for sure. Oh, you're gonna be showing a Cancun vlog. Oh my goodness. I was thinking about it today and I was like, what's going on this weekend? But then I remembered this Labor Day and there's no way that I'm trying to go to the beach on Labor Day. But I may think about it the next weekend. I feel like I need to see some blue water. And when I get into that thought, I have to get to Destin. That's my favorite place. So I don't know, but Cancun vlog, that'll take me there. That's another great thing about checking out other content creators. You can vicariously through them be in their place. Like Slasher Chick had a great video yesterday and she was showing different water places. And I guess the place you said you were at the end, Slasher Chick, and I couldn't pronounce it. I wish that YouTube had a voice where I can hear you, but what was the name of it? And was that in Hawaii also? Yes, I love travel blogs too. All right, let me just take a sip of this water. All right. So now I want to say, so you could be unsure about your personal why, right? And you might be saying, well, I just don't even know where to start with it. And again, we're rediscovering it. You thought you knew what it was. Some people, their why could be their family, their kids. Listen, if your why is to make enough, to have success enough so that you can support your family, your biggest why should be in a position to have better financial literacy so that you can share that information with your family. Because the thing is, if you are just pouring money into your family and they've had challenges as it is, they're going to have more challenges with the more that they get. So the best thing you can give them is knowledge. Again, knowledge is power. And if you don't and you keep pouring into them, you'll find yourself to become more frustrated, and it will become more of a challenge and not as uplifting. When you're doing your why and you're doing stuff that's helping you achieve that why, the things that you're doing will be even that much more beautiful when your why is is recognized and appreciated. When your if your why is to spend more time with your children, so you work a certain hours so that you can have that time, and your kids bring so much joy to your life, that makes working those challenging hours worth it. You are like, it's so worth it. But if you are, your why is to pour money into family members because they've had struggles their whole life or whatever, and they just are a money grab at that point, like expectant, but they're not doing anything they don't have anything to show for it. You're like, dang, I just gave you and you asking for more, or I thought you was going to spend that on this and you spent it on that, or you gave it away to them. It's going to make your process of getting that money more challenging. So make sure your why is not going to also drag down your energy. It's not going to actually take away from you. All right. So these are some reflective questions that you can have, or I'm sorry, to be, if you're unsure about your personal why, you want to try these different types of approaches, because we just talked about the reflective. So, but this is, you want to ask a reflective question. You want to continuously ask yourself, like, why do I do this? Or what brings me joy? To uncover that underlying motivation. You want to explore interests and passions. Oh, you know what? We went through all this already. I'm trying to read my notes. I'm like, wait, okay, because I knew it was on towards the end. So again, here are some unique personal whys. Because remember in the beginning, I talked about company wise. We looked at Apple, Airbnb, we looked at Microsoft. What was their why to continue doing business how they do it, business as usual. But now I will also, since we're at the end, and I think it's so important for everyone to have a personal why statement as well as a mission statement. You should understand, and your values should be written down somewhere. But you should have your why statement. Why am I doing this? Why do I feel the need to do this? Why will that enhance my life? Why will that bring me joy? Imagine, providing financial literacy to your entire family. They get it. Some will get it, some won't. But it's not even about the quantity of gets it, it's the quality. So if one or two get it and they're able to pull people up, that's even better. We're talking about intergenerational mobility where one is helping the other. So when you have your why statement, here are just a few unique ones. So one is make life easier so there is more positive energy. That could be your why. You just want to make life easier. How are you going to do that? And that's when you think about the work you do, your career. How are you doing it so that it is going to, create more positive energy? The next is, helping others use their potential so that they do those things that deserve to be seen. That could be someone that's a teacher, an instructor. That could be someone that is putting people in place so that they can have better careers, setting people up to be better parents, to be better individuals. It could be you being a coach, being a player on the field. So what is your why? And that is a great why statement. Another is to help people get unstuck so they can do what they love to do. And that's something that I do on a daily basis with career coaching. So many people are unstuck and they're doing what they had to do, not what they love to do. And they don't know what they love to do. So they go to a career coach to try to figure it out. And that's something that keeps me going. And that is part of my why, is to get them unstuck so that if they have growing pains and they feel like, you know what, I'm in this onesie and my feet are trying to bust out the bottom, but I can't. It's no room. I don't know how. And I'm able to unsnap that onesie and let them stretch out and see other things through a different lens. Also, inspire people from boring language to a good story so that they can enjoy standing in front of an audience. Lisa Nichols is another one of my mentors in my head. Oprah Winfrey is the other. And Lisa Nichols always does great jobs with storytelling. She has whole workshops, seminars on storytelling. And, that's how people get to become real comfortable if they have to do a presentation. This year, I've started incorporating storytelling in my presentations. I start off with a story about my childhood, a story about even my parents and how they got where they're at. And well, and my mother's not here, but in terms of business. And then I go into whatever that presentation is. That's that hook. That's that I'm a real person. That's that, people tell, stories sell. And where I'm taking you is going to show you this is, where I started. And so, Lisa Nichols does a good job with teaching people how to tell that story. It's more than presenting information, giving stats and data. No, it's telling that story. And the last is to create art so that everyone can discover their own inspiration, love, and greatness. And when I look at content creators, especially the ones that are creatives that do art, here on YouTube, crafts, make things like books, and even with gardening, and just even being a content creator. Listen, have y'all seen Slasher Chick's videos where she's showing you how to utilize different technologies and platforms and things that can help with your videos to tell that story? But there's so many content creators out here that are so creative, and that's their why. Their why is providing that information to people so that they can do it too. Their why is to show someone that maybe can't get out of the beautiful things. Delightful Dawn is about to drop a Cancun video vlog. And for people that can't get to Cancun, that's her why, is to share her experiences with the world. And I think that's all of our purposes. I look at things that conscious that conscious business solutions is doing, and it's like that information is valuable. It gets you to think. She's the one that was told everyone that this month, August, is national get make a will month. And so it made me think, like, yeah, and it just so happened I was helping my dad. But just generating those ideas, that could be a why, helping people to think again, dare to dream. And I see Rudy is in the building. I'm putting up his quote is 8:31. That means it's 9:31 my time. And let's see, you said, Slasher Chica said, I don't think I said it, but it was one of the beaches. Yeah, you did. You said I just can't pronounce it. I'm not even gonna try. Oahu, Oaha. I just don't remember which one. Okay, that's perfect. It was beautiful. I was like, wait a minute, that's Slasher Chick talking for real at that beach. But I hope that these statements that I've shared with you, as well as the information on rediscovering your why, you found helpful, beneficial, and not just for yourself, but those in your circle. This is also some great content to talk about when you're with your circle, maybe at dinner or over the phone. Instead of talking about what somebody had on, or what went on, whatever, talk about things that's going to uplift and really motivate and inspire your circle to do even better. You don't want to be the smartest one in your group, so you want to bring all of them that want to come for the ride too. All right, everyone, it's been my pleasure to be here with you this evening. I appreciate you all so much for rocking with me. If you are new to this channel and you've been coming back a couple of times and you've been on that fence, like, I don't know, try and come join the team. Hit the subscribe button and the bell for notification. Also, please, if you enjoyed the information, give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment if you're watching this on replay, and or if you're here live and the information just started to marinate within you and you're like, you get those aha moments and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna tell Coach Sherry this. I love to get those types of comments because listen, y'all are the reason for this season. So thank you. Again, remember always, every day, practice so hard, practice so that when you get in, you will always play to win. I am Coach Sherry.